Hello there. My name is Lynn Jocelyn. I'm a functional medicine physician assistant, and my mission is to empower people to optimize their health through a functional medicine and a colorful approach, and so that they can embody their birthright of vitality, connection, and joy. I'm really excited about harnessing the healing power in community. And so I integrate that into my practice, and I am having these conversations with other practitioners to also begin to really bring community in, the healing practitioners as well, so we can be sharing our gifts as healers and really supporting people in a collaborative way. So tonight, I'm very excited to have Jessica Bruno, who is a functional nutritionist with a master's in functional nutrition. And I'm also super lucky that Jessica is part of Integrated Spectrum of Health, and she is working with my patients as well. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with Jessica. So I'm going to open it up to you, Jessica, to please just share a bit about you, and then we'll just move through.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica. And as Lynn said, I am a functional nutritionist. And so I have a wonderful family. I'm based out of California here in beautiful San Diego. And I never want to leave because it's always sunny and beautiful here. But I married my high school sweetheart. We have a beautiful 3-year-old son, Oliver, and he keeps us busy. So, but my journey with where I'm at now really started probably about 7 years ago. I had this change. I wanted to do nursing because I've always had this really big, need and want to help people. And I started working at a functional medicine practice just randomly. I found an ad on Craigslist and I was like, oh, this sounds fun. And I started as a front desk assistant, and it just kind of grew into this like weird aha moment where I was like, wow, like this is what I want to do, and it's such a different, unique approach from conventional medicine, but we still get to help people. And it was just more in alignment with what I wanted to do. So my journey kind of started there. And then I had the opportunity to work with this amazing functional medicine practitioner. And we worked with a lot of patients, very, very sick with diverse things. So I've been able to work with a lot of people and a lot of different practitioners, which has been wonderful because I get to see a lot of different patients and a lot of different people. And so it's been, mold illness and Lyme disease and autoimmune conditions or just gut health. And then you get every once in a while those really easy patients that just want preventative and they just want to be healthy and live a healthy life. And so, yeah, I've completed my master's in human nutrition and functional medicine, and I'm just seeing where the rest of this journey takes me. But it's been really fun getting to team up with practitioners because it just offers this like elevated level of support for the patient. They have the expertise of the practitioner, and then they can work with me on some of the more nutritional and lifestyle factors. And I think that frees up time for the practitioners too, to really focus in on what they need to focus on. And so it's just a much more elevated level of support and like medicine model for patients, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah, it is wonderful. So you made a big pivot from, well, not big because it's still health profession, but decided because of that job not to go on to nursing school and moved into nutrition. That's wonderful. And I think it's, you're very good at it. So I think it was a good move. Did you, I'm just curious, did you have your own personal sort of food transformation during that time as well? Or were you somebody that personally just knew and ate healthy and that was part of, you already, or was that a big change?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I grew up, my family is very like that all-American, like hearty meat, potatoes, and like we'd have like hot dogs and baked beans. And like, it was just traditional, what you think of like an American diet. And it wasn't bad. My mom did all the home cooking, but it was a lot of foods I don't eat now. And in high school, I'd get like the pepperoni hot pockets and I'd dip them in ranch. It was like, I was healthy, but healthy to a 17 or 18-year-old is a lot different. And so I had blips where I'd go through, I really wanted to exercise and eat healthy, and then I'd kind of fall off track, and that's when I'd be eating things like that. So it kind of fluctuated. But when I got into college, I think that's when I really started to have this transformation. And I always used to be embarrassed to admit it, but I think I've never had an eating disorder, or eating problems, but I always had this body complex where I was so nervous to gain the freshman 15. And I was so like concerned about that in a weird way, it kind of helped me eat better. And it led me into a different space where I think I started to appreciate my body better. I don't know. It was very odd. It's something where I think it had a different effect on me than it does for a lot of people. And so in college, I started eating really healthy, and I was like, I just want to be, healthy, healthy, healthy. And so that's when my diet shifted a lot. I started working out more. I was more about like gaining muscle than being skinny, and just like wanting to be like healthy and fit. And then when I started at that functional medicine practice, I'm like such a true believer that things happen for a reason. So I think there was a reason I didn't go to nursing school. I think there was a reason I saw that Craigslist ad, because I.
Are you there? I can't hear you. You back? Okay.
Can you hear me?
There you are. Yep.
Oh, I'm
I don't
so
know.
sorry.
That was super odd. It was like you were there and then you weren't. So I heard that we got to the point where everything happens for a reason, the Craigslist ad, and then
Okay.
the next
Yes.
thing was coming. So
Okay. Gotta love technological
I
blip.
know it's all good.
So yeah. So then when, I really feel like things align for a reason, because when I started working at that functional medicine practice, within 6 months of working there, I started having these like severe abdominal pains, like really, really bad, to where I was like having to call out of work, and to the point where I was like almost bedridden a lot of the time because I couldn't even get out of bed. It was my stomach was cramping so much. And then I had for 7 years straight, I had loose bowels, like nothing with consistency. And for me, I just felt like, oh, maybe that's just normal because I started drinking caffeine and eating spicy foods. And I never really like put a connection to it. And then when I started having the abdominal pain, I mean, it was really bad for an entire year. And so I went from doctor to doctor, and even with my functional medicine practitioner, even she was, I mean, kind of at a loss. It was like, we're trying to do gastroenterology and doing my, colonoscopies and all these different things. And it kind of came down to that they diagnosed me with Crohn's. And so I got a
Oh my
Crohn's
goodness.
diagnosis. They also diagnosed me with mast cell activation syndrome. I was getting like rashes on my body, and it was really correlated to not just foods, but also like if I got in the shower in the heat, or if I went out and tried to exercise in the sun and I started sweating, I'd get really itchy. And so there was all these weird things happening. And then we also found out we had mold in our apartment. And so there was a bunch of things that unraveled within a year that really made me understand like what people go through. And I think that's a lot of the part that kind of leads me with patients now, is like my compassion. I'm like, I've been there. I know what it's like to take everything out of your diet and your nutritional approach and struggle by being told you can have like chicken and rice. It's like, it was such a eye-opening moment for me. And then that's really what made me feel like, okay, I know where I'm supposed to be. This is wonderful. Like, I've been through it. I've navigated through it. And I went through gastroenterologists telling me like, oh, you need to be on biologics, and this is what it's going to be. You're on your whole life for immunosuppressants. And I kind of, and also them telling me like, I don't need to follow a dietary approach, just avoid saturated fats and, red meats and you'll be fine. And I'm like, okay. And so it was a very
Gotta
big
be more.
disconnect between conventional medicine and then my functional medicine practitioner. And I think it just made me have even a stronger love for what we do, because I was like, wow, there's such a big disconnect there. And I decided not to do the immunosuppressants. I decided to really like take hold of not only my nutritional approach, but like stress is a huge trigger for me. And I had a lot of stress in my life at that point. So I really started, really focusing in on my diet, making sure I wasn't eating things. I cut out caffeine. I cut out a lot of things I love. Like I'm a huge cheese lover. I cut out all dairy, gluten, caffeine, all these foods that I knew were trigger foods for me. And I really worked on kind of building my system back up. And I got to the point where my stomach wasn't hurting anymore, because I lost 20 pounds, and for me that's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like I was kind of disintegrating. And so I was able to gain weight back. I started exercising again because I wasn't able to exercise for a whole year, but I was still having loose bowels. And it wasn't until I really focused in on my stress that I noticed that my bowels shifted within 2 months of like really focusing in on eliminating the stressors out of my life. And then my bowels shifted. And like from then on, I still have those moments, just like I feel like all of our patients or clients, where they're just waiting for the ball to drop and like things get better, but there's still that fear of like, oh, what if things go back to what it was, But I think that's just what we work with patients on, is like giving them the knowledge and support that if they do have a flare or they do have these things that pop up, they know how to navigate through it moving forward. And so that's kind of what I've done with myself. But yeah, my sickness was a huge eye opener for me. And so now, I mean, I eat very, very clean. Like a splurge for me is like French fries or something like that. It's just not worth it for me to feel a certain way for a food. There's so many other ways to fill our life and fill our plate with like happiness and joy than just food. And so that's, a big part of what I try to work with patients on as well, is like, food should be enjoyable, but we shouldn't also let it ruin our lives if we have to take something out. Let's focus on, all the other things that fill us with joy.
Oh, I love that. And wow, that's a powerful story. I think,
Yeah.
yeah. And that gives you that empathy piece that you can really go there with patients, which is so important. And you did it, and you're still navigating periodic, little baby flares, right? If your stress gets out of whack or such. And thank you for bringing that stress piece up, because it is so critical. And the more I do this, the more I'm just like, we got to start with your stress, because if we start with that stress, so much else gets worked out.
Yeah.
What, when you said you had those 2 months of really honing in on your stress, do you mind sharing a bit about what you did? What did you create? Did you have a practice you did daily, or what worked for you?
Yeah. So, one big thing I did, I actually, I quit my job. That was
That's huge.
I don't
And
recommend that for
risky.
everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it got to a point where it was really toxic for me. And so where I was at, I had just outgrown, and it wasn't really filling my plate with what I needed anymore. And it wasn't going the direction that I wanted to go with my career. And so, and it was draining me a lot. And so, I talked with my husband, and he was pretty much to the point like, look, we're going to get through no matter what. You'll find a different job. There's always something else out there. And so that was the first step I took, which was super scary. But also I was like, I know this is a trigger for me and I need something to change. And I think I work with a lot of patients on that. And I'm sure you do too, where it's, work may be a stressor. And I think it's such a hard thing to try to navigate through, because a lot of the times you feel like there's just no other options. But I'm in such a better place now, where I'm actually doing what I want to do. I'm working with practitioners who support me and don't bring me down. There was a lot of things there that were just not supportive of me and what my growth was. And so that was the big aspect. But with that, I also did start practicing just like stress management techniques. Like in the morning, I would wake up and I do at least 5 minutes of deep breathing and like a meditation type session where like the Headspace app or Calm
Yep.
app.
Mhm.
I'm someone who needs someone talking to me and telling me because my mind drifts like crazy. So I made it a routine that every morning when I woke up, I did at least 5 minutes, if not more. And then I made sure I exercised at least 3 to 4 days a week. But exercise for me wasn't always um, like an exercise routine. I really got in the mindset that if I'm getting movement throughout the day, that's what's best. So whether it's a walk outside with my dog or, going and riding bikes or doing something like that, it was more just getting outside, doing something, outdoors without stimulants or TVs or phones or anything like that. Like I really made that a priority because I felt like that was only good. It was good for me, but it's also good for my son, my family, to kind of get them away from stuff like that. Um, and then me and my husband he calls it the old people routine. We're in bed by 9 o'clock, and instead of watching TV, we spend time either like talking about our day or reading a book or like, whatever we want to do, and just kind of have that relaxing time before bed, which I found helped as well. It kind of just calms your space before you go to sleep for the night. So there was I didn't do those every day. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
There were hiccups just like everybody else,
Yeah.
but I'm a big, what do they call it? Personality. You're like an A personality. I'm very
Type
I like
A.
to-
Yep.
type A. Yeah. I think I like to check things off. And so
Okay.
I have
Mhm.
like a planner, and I literally would put in my planner, like meditate 5 minutes, get outside and get exercise or movement for 30. And like, to me, my pleasure was like going back and like checking that off. Like that made me feel good. And so that was a huge part of it too. And I made reasonable goals. I didn't say I was going to do it every single day of the week, but I made it very clear. Like if I did it 3 to 4 times out of the week, I was very happy. And so with all of those things, and then the shift with my career,
Wonderful.
yeah, within 2 months, all of a sudden I've never been so happy to walk out of the bathroom.
And it is so you said so many beautiful pearls in what you shared. One, you committed to it. It sounds like there was grace in there in that you showed up as best you could with some consistency, but you're human, and it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And you
Yeah.
still had these great results. And so I think that's so important, because I think especially as we work with people in these kind of settings,
Mhm.
there's this idea that, well, if I can't do it perfect, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Or not thinking of this one so well. 90% of everything they ate in the week has been amazing. And probably not even 10%, could be 1% or one thing. And that's what they focus on. So
Yes.
thank you for bringing that piece
Yeah.
up. And we just started working together, but I already have a sense of you, which I think this is such a beautiful gift, that you have this sense of balance with people, and just breathing room, and everybody's different versus lots of strict, and
Yeah.
that aligns very well with me, because what I tell my patients, we're in this for the long haul, for the
Yeah.
sustainable healing, for not just the 30 days.
Yeah.
So that is beautiful.
Yeah.
What, Jessica, in all of your work, even before perhaps you got into the healing space, what is your gift that you can really bring to people in your work?
I try to be really like personable and relatable. I don't want someone coming to me and I'm very like stiff, or we've all been to the doctor or someone like we're going to see for help, and it's very just like I try to be very like relatable and personal when I talk to people. I want it to be something that's easy flowing, and you know I feel like I'm pretty easygoing. My husband will tell me all the time, he's like, "You sound like a laid back California girl." I'm like, "Well, that's what I want."
That's good.
That's what I want.
Mission
Um,
accomplished.
yeah, but I don't know. I try to bring that to the table. I want people to feel comfortable talking to me. I want people to not feel, I've had it before where patients are like, "Oh, I don't want to say anything, but like I totally, I did cheat on this week." I'm like, "No, tell me. Like I want to know. I'm not here to scold you. I'm here to like help you navigate through all of this." And so one thing I really try to bring to the table is that aspect where like, I just want this to be, I know it's a professional relationship, but I almost want it to be like something where, I'm just someone here to support you. And so as a friend, a family member, what your support system looks like, look at me as being part of that circle. I'm here to support you. I'm here to guide you, but I don't want it to be something where you can't tell me things or you feel awkward talking to me. Like, I feel like that puts barriers up between people and their rapport with working with people. And so I do try to really make that like an aspect of just, being fun, professional, but like having that balance where it's still fun to work together and like, okay, well, you're missing this out of your nutritional plan. How can we spice it up and do this instead? Or, does that answer, I guess?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I'm pretty sure if whoever's watching this is already feeling that with you, because you're very relatable, approachable, ease. And the other thing I loved what you said is you're going to bring stuff in versus just eliminate. You didn't say it exactly like that, but like if something's missing, you're going to spice it up. You're going to find out what that is. And that's so important. So important.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. Yes. And I do think that's how we get to be with humans, right? All of us, whatever thing we're doing in life or our passion.
Yeah.
And there's layers of healing in that piece. So,
yeah.
So I know we're getting close. So there's a couple, just two more questions I would love to close up with. And one of them you kind of answered. Well, you answered in one way, so I'm curious if it's still going on for you. But how do you feel? So you're a working mom. You're super passionate about your job, so that probably keeps you going a lot. You're a mom of, I think Oliver's 4. Is that right? Or
he'll be 4 in a couple months. So yes.
Okay. So young. Is he pretty active? Probably, I'm assuming.
He's crazy.
Crazy. Okay. And a husband and a full life. How do you fill your cup so that you get to continue to show up and, continue to be passionate on what you love?
Yeah. I think, so one aspect is who I get to work with. I think you enjoy your career and what you do because you enjoy the people that you get to work with and what you get to do. And so, I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to where if I get to work with practitioners like you and myself, it's like we really get to see if we're a good fit before working with each other. And I think that's really a wonderful dynamic because it's important. I left my previous job because it did become toxic and there was like this there wasn't a connection there anymore with our work together. And so I think that's really important to keep your drive for what you love to do. And then, with the aspects of just being like busy all the time and still being able to like have the energy to like do my work and be with my kid, I think there's like that mom mode. I don't know what it is,
Okay.
I mean, you just keep going. And for me, it's really important for me as a mom to also be there for my child and my husband. And so we really do try to create boundaries where, it's okay, these are the work hours. Yes, we both have to get things done. I mean, I'm, working with multiple practitioners right now. I'm also studying for a licensing exam. There's a lot going on my plate, but my husband is also like, he's getting his doctorate in Chinese medicine right now. And so he's, going to school for that. And then he's working just to kind of, keep things going. And so we both have a lot going on. And so we really try to make it a point to be mindful of our time together. Okay, when we get done with work at night, we have family time together. We cook meals together. We have the TV off and we put music on and Oliver sings and dances with us. We try to incorporate things like that where it's like quality family time. And then if I have blips throughout the day, like today, I had an hour lunch and we have a pool near us. So I took Oliver to the pool and I let him swim for, an hour and get outdoors and have fun. And so he's not in preschool yet. And so he's home while I'm working from home. And so again, finding that balance to really make time for him in between. And I think it's just, we want what's best for us and for our families. And like, so you kind of find ways to do that, but you definitely need to have boundaries with your work life and your personal life and make time for both, because if you just get drowned in one versus the other, you're going to have, empty cups, and you're just not going to feel balanced within your life. And so, I'm not perfect in any regard with that. I still have moments where I'm like, it's 9:30 at night. I'm like, I need to get off my computer. What am I doing? But it's a step in the right direction, and it's progress. And it's something we talk about often to make sure we're like having those moments within our day to day.
And that's, again, you beautiful points, right? Boundaries, communication, keep talking about it. I'm going to mess up sometimes. And just one thing I want to say about mom mode. Yes, it happens. And Jessica, always fill your cup first, because mom mode is real. And you can still get really burnt out. It's a big time with a young one and new careers and everything that you're doing. And you do things really well. And so that piece too, right? You're very driven. So it's just holding space for all of that. So that you get to keep doing this. And then just to close up, Jessica, I would love to know what is it that lights you up? What is just the first thing that comes to mind that totally just lights you up? Doesn't even have to be work, any related to anything.
My husband and my son and food.
Yay.
I really do.
Beautiful.
Like if they're not here, I'm like really lonely and sad. And then I'm a total foodie. Like I love, the first thing I think about when we go on vacation is I'm Yelping where we can go eat with places around us. Like
so great.
I love food. I love good food.
Well, you're in the right profession then. That's wonderful. Well, Jessica, I really appreciate you taking the time to connect in this way. And, again, I'm just really having these conversations so that people can get to know you, get to know your work. So the other thing I will do is, and we'll chat just a bit after we stop the recording, but I would love to just put your website and where people can find you. I know you do virtual work as well. And Jessica, she works with practitioners, but you also do some on your own, like somebody could just find you. Is that correct? And go through some of your programs and such. So that's just a really wonderful option as well. So we'll make sure all of that is on the notes as far as under the podcast. So thanks so much, Jessica. And thanks for whoever's listening. And we'll see y'all next time.
Okay. Bye.
Let's see.